Alright guys, I'm going to give you the why I think that this is, it could go a lot lower than a lot of people think. I'm going to also show you what will make me bullish. Now I know some people are so bullish about Bitcoin that it doesn't really matter what anybody says. They're so heavily invested, or they've lost so much already, the last thing they want to hear is it's going to drop more. Those people, they probably can't be reached. If you're on the fence and you're not sure, look, the whole point of this is I'm trying to keep people from losing money. At the very least, you know, from kicking themselves a couple months from now thinking, damn, if I would have just sold, I could have twice the Bitcoin right now. So let me cover all this. First, I would like to point out on my website, I did add this list of charts. Every time I add a new chart, I will put this in the list. But this shows you all the charts I have available on my website. These are all the Bitcoin charts, altcoin charts, precious metals, and stocks. The website address and my email will be in the description if you want to check out the website. But let's get on to the TA here. So let's go to Bitcoin. And this is my BTC capitulation cycle chart. So, and you guys have probably seen this chart before. We don't even need to worry about this this pitchfork here, so I'm just going to hide it. The only thing that I want to point out and show you is this yellow ring right here, and this, well, this yellow fib circle and this red fib circle. And you can see that price has been respecting this red fib circle really well. You know, we were stuck in this channel, moved up to this channel. You can see we had a pivot at this ring. We pushed up to this ring, got rejected, found perfect support here. Basically rode down this yellow ring. We pushed up to this red ring. We pushed up to the next red ring in this fib circle. And when we did, we started riding down it. And then we had to push up. As soon as we crossed it, we came down. We've been coming down ever since, bouncing back up and forth in this this descending channel. So if you go, I'm on TradingView. My TradingView name is Snooker, SNOOKERER. Now, I published this on June 24th, 2019. I will admit that, you know, I was calling that we could possibly crash, you know, back here in May. I didn't expect us to push this high. I especially didn't expect us to push all the way up here. But when I charted this, I did believe that when we hit this ring, we would have a capitulation. This would be the start of the capitulation. We'd be coming down after we cross this ring. And if you hit play, you can see that's exactly what happened. As soon as we crossed that ring, we started coming down. We've been coming down ever since. And yes, we just had to push up. And I'm getting a lot of comments saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, my TA sucks, and the rings don't work, and then I'm lying to people. You know, if you go back and you watch my videos, you know, I told you this was a possibility. You know, right here, this was December 30th. Let me just play a little part of this. Where a previous ring played a role, always pay attention because something major could happen. It's possible nothing happens, but it's better to pay attention. We are right at this ring now, guys. So we could continue to push down this ring, and then once we hit this yellow ring, you know, it's possible it could be support, and we could push up it till we cross and have a drop. Hey, we could hit this ring and start riding up it. Anything can happen, but I do think something will happen just because these rings played a role. So, you know, in this video, I said exactly what happened, you know, just recently. I said that it's possible that when we get near this yellow ring, we could start pushing up, and that's what happened. You know, I told you it's possible we could drop down or we could push up. But the point is, guys, is what I'm trying to show you is that this ring did play out, and this is the next ring over. And you can see the similarities here. I mean, we rode down this red ring. We pushed up. We hit this trend line at the top. We've been bouncing up and down forth in this since the 27th of June. And, you know, we rode down it, we pushed up, across, we came down. So we rode down this red ring, we pushed up. So what do you think is going to happen when we cross this ring? Now, it is possible. I mean, you can see that we're pushing up above this right now. I think that's a lot of people that, I think this actually is retail that are hoping and are grasping, you know, hoping this goes higher, and they want to buy in, thinking this is going to be a breakout. But, you know, look right here. We came up above this. you know, almost 7%, and then came back down. So I do think that what's going to happen, and you know, this is going to retrace back down. It's going to come underneath this, and within the next, well, less than 6 days, in about 6 days, you know, we're going to come back down. We're going to hit this ring, and when we cross this ring, I think the same thing's going to play out that played out over here. We're going to cross it and come down, except the thing is, when we cross it, we're not going to come down and test the support of this, and I'll show you that in this next chart. But I think this is the point where we have a major drop, and I think that's when we actually break this channel. And we'll cover these pumps too, but let me go ahead and go to this chart and show you what I'm talking about. Now guys, keep an open mind here, okay? This is our 2013-2014 bear market. This is our you know, 2017 to our current bear market. You know, think of this as, you know, right here. Let me get my brush tool. Well, that's not my brush tool. There we go. Think of all of this as a $200,000 house. And this right here is a $10 million mansion. There's a lot less materials, a lot less contractors, a lot less money involved. It doesn't take as long to build. But this, you know, you got a $10 million mansion, there's a lot more materials, a lot more contractors, a lot more money invested. It takes a lot longer to build. You smaller house, bigger house. Alright, and so that's the analogy I'm going to use. You got the little house, got the big house. Let's go to, this is the market cap for Bitcoin. So let's go all the way back down here as far as it goes down. Let's go down to 2013. So they don't keep track of volume until December 27th. The volume was 46 million, almost 47 million. All right, we're talking millions, 47 million. The market cap was almost 9 billion. All right, 47 million, 9 billion. Look what the market cap is now. The volume alone is 23 billion. The market cap is 140 billion. So that's what I'm saying. This is a lot larger. The market's huge compared to this. So it's taking longer for this to play out. And what I'm trying to show you guys is the similarities I see charting this. I'm just going to go ahead and just show you. You know, these fib circles do work. If you know how to use them, you know what you're looking for. So I'm going to go to a fib circle. I'm going to come from the peak, and I'm going to come right down here. And let me zoom into this. So let me turn the trend line. I'm going to turn all these rings on, and we'll set it up. And let's make this white. And I want to have the 0.618. Let's have all of these. All right, the 0.618 and the 1.618. I want to have thicker. The rest of them can be. There we go. All right, so here's what I'm trying to show you. All I did was I came from the peak right here, right to this point before we started to push up, right here. And when you do that, look what happens. And let me turn off these other rings. So I'm going to leave the trend line so you can see where it comes from. I'm going to turn off this ring, this ring, this ring. We leave the 0.618. We turn off this ring and this ring. So if you look at this, coming from the peak down to where we pushed up, right before we started pushing up, you can see that right here we have a capitulation. We come down, we hit the bottom of this ring. We came back up, came down, and then we started pushing up. And look what happens right here. This is the 1.618. We ride up this ring. As soon as we cross it, we pivot, start going sideways, and come down. And then look what happens when you hit this ring. You have a pivot, you come down. You hit this ring, you go up, you ride it, you ride up a little bit, you go sideways, you come down, you have more pivots, you find resistance. So this is 2013, 2014. Remember the 0.618 and the 1.618. So we come over here and we're going to do the same thing. You take a fib circle, you go from the top, and we come down to right before we started pushing up. Right before this green, so it matches completely over here. And it's almost identical. Look, you got this little point where you start pushing up, it starts turning green, then you have this candle that shoots straight up. Same thing right here. Come from the peak, you come down from right where you start pushing up. And look what happens, guys. You have this run up, and then as soon as you cross the ring, you have a drop, and you start coming down. Same thing that happened over here. You have this run up, you cross, you start coming down. The 0.618, you capitulate. This is the 1.618. As soon as you cross it, you start coming down. I'm telling you guys, a lot of people don't think this is the case. They think that this right here, they think is this, and we're starting the bull run. And if you look into it deeper and you start to understand the structure here, and again, this is just one possible scenario I'm giving you. This is a bearish scenario, but I think it's very possible. So if I do a trend line here, and you know, if this is, let's just do a trend line coming all the way out. So this would be our support right here. I mean, you can clearly see that we've got support. You got support here, you got support here, you got support here, you got resistance right there, you got more support back here. So, you know, this is our first, and I can do a trend line from the peak, and we'll follow down, right down the center line of this fib circle here. You come all the way down, you know, before we push up. So this is the triangle we were in, our descending triangle. You know, we were bouncing back up and forth in it, and we capitulated down, we came back up, and then we had this push up. So this right here, even though this looks a little strange, but you know, I think what's happening is this. You know, you can see there's, if you follow this, you've got resistance that it's bouncing off of perfectly. I mean, it keeps hitting it. Look, resistance, 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 resistance. And you can pull this out. You know, that's a descending triangle right here. And look what happens when we break down. We break down, we drop. You go sideways, you hit this ring, we drop. And you come over here, you do the exact same thing. So we can draw a line right here. This would be your support right here. And we bring this out right here. You got support, you got support, you got support. And right here, you can see you got support right here. We did drop below, we came back down. This was support. You do the same thing. You come from the top, right, same line in this fib circle here. You come from the top all the way down, right before we push up. So this is the descending triangle. You know, we didn't come all the way to the top. We were bouncing back and forth in this, and then we capitulated. We dropped down right here, the 0.618. This right here, although you know a lot of people see this as a you know, potential bull flag, but you know, I see it as a descending triangle. You know, just like the last one. You know, we pushed a little bit above this, but again, guys, keep in mind, you know, we pushed above the 6%, and it's still going up. We'll see what happens. Maybe by the time I upload this video, maybe I'm wrong, but we pull this out. You know, this is the exact same thing playing out all over again. You ride up, you capitulate, you start coming down after the 1.618. You've got the structure bouncing back and forth. You drop down, you move back up, just like what happened over here. Exact same thing playing out, just a smaller version. You bounce up and down in this descending triangle. You drop down, we capitulate, come back up. You finally get this push up. You're in this descending triangle, and then you capitulate, come down. So guys, I'm telling you, I think that is what's playing out. I think that is actually the scenario that's playing out. And if you go by this this chart here, guys, we are not far from this ring. If I copy this ring and paste it into this chart, I mean, right here, when we hit this ring, I expect us to have a pretty significant drop. And I think that will play along with exactly what happened back here. Because you can see, we were, halfway between this ring, and we had a pretty big drop coming down, moved sideways, then we hit the ring and pivoted. So what I'm saying is, you can see how much of a role this ring played. We crossed it, we came down. So, we moved sideways, we crossed this ring, we're going to have, a drop that comes down, and then we might move sideways, hit this ring, and then come down further. That's why I'm saying there could be a lot more to the downside than a lot of people expect. I would like to point out also, and I'm going to go back to this chart here. So, people don't think that there's manipulation, and I think there's, they don't want you to know that there's manipulation. That's why whenever you have, these pumps like this, there's something that happens when you get one of these pumps. So for instance, this pump right here, and let's go down to the 2 hour. So if you look at this, this took place on October 25th when this started. And if you go to this, I gotta close here. So right here, October 25th, jumped 25% in a matter of days, rising above 9,300 in Monday trading from just under 7,500. And this was when President Xi said that they were going to jump on blockchain technology, and they were going to adopt blockchain technology and all of this. So people, heard all this and thought, well, that's why Bitcoin pumped as much as it did, because, all the people in China are buying Bitcoin now, or all the people in the US are buying Bitcoin because China is going to be buying Bitcoin. But no, that's not why this pump happened. That was an excuse for exchanges and wells to pump the price, so people think that this is retail buying in. They think that the market's healthy. It's a perfect excuse. They pump the price, and guys, look how fast this happened. I mean, I'm gonna go to the 1 hour just to show you these actual candles. While it took a little longer than, this is a 1 hour candle here. So if you just measure this first candle, just this one candle alone came all the way up, came up 11.2%. And then we had some candles going up and down, it consolidated a bit. And then you had another candle after that came up 9%, and then a candle after that came up, this candle right here, that came up around 13%. So actually most of the price action happened in a matter of 3 hours. So from here to here actually only took 3 hours to go 34%. That is not retail, guys. And it just so happened, like I said, there was news on that day. Perfect time for the wells to say, well, let's go ahead and pump the price, and then people think it's because of retail buying in China and the US because of China. And then you come over here, this most recent pump we had, all of this right here, people were saying this was because of Iran. If you come over here and you do a search, you just search Iran Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a safe haven. U.S.-Iran tensions rekindle debate. Bitcoin is up 10% as tensions grow between U.S. and Iran. Bitcoin eyes price breakout amid U.S.-Iran tensions. I mean, people are making YouTube videos about this. There's all kinds of, just about everywhere you go on, if you search Iran and Bitcoin, they're saying that the reason price pumped was because of Iran. No, that's not the case. Iran was an excuse to pump the price of Bitcoin, so that people think this is retail buying in because they think the economy is going to collapse, and because we're going to war, and this is retail buying in because Bitcoin's a safe haven. No, this is still wells and exchanges manipulating and pumping the price. This is probably, I wouldn't doubt that this is some retail right here, grasping at straws, thinking, we're going to go higher, we're breaking out, we're going to go to the moon, and it's just going to come right back down, and they're going to lose the money they invested. It's just, it is all manipulated, guys. It is all manipulated. And I'm telling you, when we get to this ring, You know, we could hit this ring, we could continue higher. You know, I'll give you my bullish case, but I do believe that this, you know, when we hit this ring, we're going to be coming down. And, you know, if you go by this chart right here, this is the point when we break this right here. This is going to be, now we did come below this, but, you know, at this point when we cross this ring and then we break support of 6,900, that's when I think we're going to have a significant drop, taking this much lower. Then we'll go sideways, and then you'll have some more up and down price action, because guys, exchanges make their money off of, you know, people, you know, losing out on leverage trades. You know, they long, they want it to liquidate that long. People short, they want to liquidate their shorts. That's how they make their money. So they need to keep it interesting. Price is going to go up and down. But when we hit this yellow ring, guys, price is going to be coming down, and if we drop below this line right here, you know, roughly 6,900, we have a lot more to come down. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. This, to me, looks like the exact same damn thing playing out all over again. You know, if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to, but at least know that you were shown this scenario. To me, to me, it looks like this is exactly what's going to happen. I think just people think that, you know, we're right here and we're starting our bull run. You know, like I said, I think we're right here about to have another drop, and it just I don't see how people can't see that. Maybe some people might believe this is the case, but they're scared to say it because they don't want to be wrong. Guys, if I see something and I think it's plausible, I'm going to let you know. Let me see what else here. So the bullish case for me. Now this chart, and you know, I admit I put this chart out, and I put this out a while back. I said, you know, pay attention to this blue ring. We could cross this blue ring and possibly have a drop. We didn't. We crossed this ring, came down a bit, and we came back up. See, we rode up this ring. But, you know, regardless of this, and let me go back out to the 4 hour. You know, regardless of this, actually, let me go to the 1 day. Regardless of this blue fib circle, you know, I can get rid of this. And I can, you know, you can see that price was respecting this white fib circle. We finding support on it, we found resistance. You know, we pushed back up, we found more resistance. You know, these fib circles don't really matter. All that matters to me, and I can go ahead and just, I'm going to hide this too. All that matters to me, and guys, I chart differently than some people. A lot of people use classical TA, and it works for them, and that's great. I use fib circles and fib channels, and it works for me, and it works for a lot of people that use my charts. But when you say that these rings, you know, some of these people, and I'm saying everybody, but some people, you know, they like saw this pump. I said we were going to dump, and we had a pump, so they say, well, your fib circles don't work. Well, you know what? These fib circles do work. This orange fib circle, we have perfect resistance here. Perfect resistance, capitulated right here. We pushed up above this. This is the next ring up from this fib circle, guys, right here. And you can see that, and I can zoom in to show you how well it's respecting this fib circle. I mean, look at how well it's respecting this ring. We pushed up, it was resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, perfect support, perfect resistance. I mean, I can keep saying it, but you can see support, resistance, support, support, resistance, perfect support, support, finally broke through it, came back up, what, more support, more resistance, broke through it, came up resistance. So it's respecting that this orange ring perfectly. So you ask, when will I get bullish? Guys, I will get bullish, first of all, we have to make it above this ring, and as you can see right here, while recording this video, we cannot get above this ring right here. And guys, this ring, and let me go ahead and go down to the 2 hour and show you. You know, when you zoom in, you can really see how all these work. You know, you had support and resistance back here. You had resistance right here, and here's your resistance again. So first of all, we have to get above 8,114. Find support on this. But before I get bullish, guys, you know, I told you back on this chart over here, you know, when we pushed above here, we already came above this by what, 6.4%. So to me, for me to get bullish, we have to get above this orange ring, find support, then I get bullish. And from this point up here, you know, that's roughly 4 or 5%. So from where we were at, you know, I told you we've already made it above 6% previously, above that trend line. So, and that puts us right at 8,500. So for me to get bullish, you know, we have to get above this, find support, break up above this, and then find support on this, and then I believe we can start going higher to put in another rally. But until that happens, I'm still bearish, guys. Until that happens, you know, pushing up above this means nothing, because you know, look at all this. This isn't a volume. This is people thinking that, oh, we're about to go higher, and they're going to lose their ass, because it's going to come right back down below this. We're going to move sideways. We're going to cross this ring, and we're going to come down lower. And you know, people say that these rings don't work. You know, to each their own. If you don't think they work, then you don't have to try them out. But you know, you can see that this is, well, sometimes it's hard to tell what's a ring and what's a line. This is actually a line right here. This is my Coinbase chart. You can see that you know, we came down, we found perfect support right here on this line, pushed back up, and look, I've got it down on the 5 minutes, so you can really break it down and see. But you can see we came up, we found support, we found perfect resistance right here. Obviously, if you go to 15-minute, you can't see those details, but you can see that we found support here, found resistance. This is the this is my Coinbase chart. Let me zoom out so I can. Well, let's go to this one. So this one right here, this is a Binance chart. You can see that this one, and again, guys, this is to show you that these rings do work. Just because price pushed up, and you know, price actually was respecting this on the way up. I mean, every single one of these fib channels, every single one of these rings, price did respect them. And if we go back and we look over here, you know, price was respecting this blue fib circle right here. You found, you came down, you found resistance right here. You came down, you found support. You came up, you hit the top of this. You came back down, you found support. You moved sideways, you hit this, you found resistance. Finally, you pushed above it, you had support. You came back down, it was more support, more support. We moved sideways. We pushed up above it, but look what happened. We came back down, found support on it. And then we pushed up, and look what happened. You know, we were finding support on it. Support, support. We broke through, we hit this white ring. And then we had this push up, and look what happened. This next blue fib circle up, that's where we got rejected and came back down. And we found support on this fib, this line in this fib channel. So as far as I'm concerned, we're coming back down. And you know, I have these charts published. Let's see, this chart that I was just showing you with the blue fib circles, I have this on the 30-minute. I published this. This is this chart right here. Let me zoom in. This, I had this on the 3-hour, guys, because you know, I'm going to keep these for reference later on. But if we play it out, you can see this. You know, these can't be changed. These are published charts. I published this 7 hours ago. You can see we came down, we found support on this blue ring right here, and we pushed up, and we got rejected at this next blue ring, and we're coming back down. This is another chart right here. You can see that we got rejected right here at this white ring, and this is a ring. You can see it's curved. I'm on the 30-minute, but you can see this ring. You know, we pushed up above it, but then we went back down. We found resistance. Came back down, came back up, more resistance, came back down. We found support on this blue ring, pushed up. You know, and we were finding, you know, it wicked back down right to this line in this fib channel. But this chart also I have published as well. That is this chart. And I'll zoom in here. I have this on the 1 hour. But when I hit play, look what happens. It came down and hit right on this ring, perfect support on this ring, and then started pushing back up. So we pushed up. You know, if you get to 8,295, you know, I don't see us going that high, but if you did, you know, that's where you're going to get rejection, to come back down and find support on this ring. So you know, when people say these rings don't work, they just have never seen these rings, or they don't have access to the charts. But you know, you can clearly see that price has been respecting this perfectly. I mean, there's a lot on the chart here, but you can see, you know, we were finding support, 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 come up, we hit it, come back down, support, we hit it again, resistance, come back down, support, support, support. We came below it, but we came back up, hit the top ring, hit the bottom ring, came up, hit the ring again, moved above it, came down, found resistance on it. We came down, found resistance, found support, found resistance, found support, dropped below it, came back up, and then we went above it, and then came back down, found perfect support, and now we're moving back up. So guys, these rings do work. This chart right here, this is the Kraken chart. I mean, you can see that price respected this. This is a white fib circle right here. This is what price has been respecting. You can see, you know, we came up, you know, we found support, we found resistance, we dropped back into this channel, came up, it was resistance, support, 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 resistance, support, resistance, came up into this channel, resistance, support, came back down, perfect support, came back up, support, support, finally came up, resistance, broke above it, more support, came up, resistance and support, broke below, look, the next one up, perfect resistance, then pushed up. So, you know, these rings work, guys, and it's also respecting the fib channels. You can see each one of these fib channels. I mean, going back, I need to extend this out, I need to update these charts, guys, but you can clearly see, you know, we found resistance on this line, and then we dropped down to this one. We're also respecting, let me draw a line here and kind of show you, but you can see we're respecting support and resistance on these channels going to the right, and then you can see we're also respecting these fib channels going more vertical. And you can see this wick we had that came right down to this line in this fib channel. When we came down, you found support on this, and again, this wick came right up to this ring. But you can see how we're respecting this green line in this fib channel. Perfect support and resistance. Perfect resistance. Comes up, comes down. You find perfect support on this red line. Comes back up. You wick at this. You wick up to this white ring. You come back down. Perfect support on this fib channel. And then you move back up. Then you're respecting this fib channel. This fib channel is resistance. Becomes support. Becomes support and resistance. So guys, these charts do work. But you know, when prices are being manipulated and pushed up, you know, same thing back here, guys. Same thing that happened, you know, right here. You know, when we pushed up, let me just clear this chart. But when we pushed up right here, you know, people were expecting this to be a lot of resistance right here, and you see people using those those little boxes. You know, right here should have been a lot of resistance, right through here, all of this, but it wasn't resistance. We just shot right through that. And then, you know, this should have been resistance right here. You got all of this trading that happened right here, but look what happened. We just shot right through it. So guys, when the price is being manipulated and the price is being pumped, yeah, typical support resistance doesn't really matter, because they're going to push it to the point they want to push it to. They're going to pump it to where they want it, and then they're going to sell when they want to sell. So, you know, on the way down, these readings work great because I know potential points to buy. I know where the targets are. Like I said, these charts work best on the way down, better than they do on the way up. You can see we got rejected at this blue ring. I expect this point will probably start coming back down again, and you can see it's respecting this line in this fib channel. But yeah, I expect to get rejected here, start coming back down, at least sideways and down until we hit that ring. But again, I guess I could show you, but yeah, guys, if you do want to access the charts, that information is in the description. And also, I'm really getting into stocks now, guys, so if you do want to check out the stocks that I'm doing, I'm not going to go through that. You can watch previous videos, but the stocks I do have up right now, I have listed on that that page, list of charts. And again, if you want to access that, just check out the website. If you want to contact me, my email is in there. But guys, that's it. Just be careful. again, I do think that this is very possible this is going to play out. And, you know, whether you believe me or not, all I'm saying is just be careful. Have a stop loss set, guys. You know, if you set a stop loss, I mean, leverage trading, you're crazy if you're doing leverage trading unless you really know what you're doing, because you're gonna get liquidated. You're gonna get stopped out. But if you're trying to stay in, you know, you need to have your stop loss low enough so you don't get stopped out. So you gotta be willing to lose money to stay in. But, you know, at the very least, you know, have your stop loss set somewhere so you're protected if this thing does crash and come down. You know, if it continues up, you're good to go. But at least have your stop loss somewhere down here, so if it does crash and comes down, you know, you're not losing everything, or, you know, 50% of what you've already invested. But again, guys, you know, before we hit this ring over here, that is, you know, roughly, you know, we moved up a little bit, but that's roughly, you know, less than 7 days. If we come back down, if we push back down, if this comes back down to here, you know, then we're only 4 days before hitting that ring. But I do expect it to play out the same. I expect what's going to happen is that we're going to cross this ring, this yellow ring right here, the same ring, and we're going to come down. So, you know, take away from that what you will. You can believe that that's going to play out, or, you know, you can think it's just a bunch of crap. But I do believe this is what's playing out, and that's why I think I'm going to wait. I told you that 4,200 was my buy-in. There's no way in hell I'm going to buy in at 4,200 when I see this playing out all over again, and we potentially are going to come down just like this. Because, I mean, this could drop so much lower. I mean, we could drop past our previous low. We could come down as low as, you know, possibly 2,500 or 1,800. There's no way I'm going to buy here and then, you know, have it come back down. You know, and I could buy in at 4,200 and then set my stop loss below. But why lose that money? I'm just going to wait and be patient. And keep in mind, one more thing. I know this is running a little long, guys, but there's another reason that we have these pumps. There's another reason. Let me clear this stuff off of here. There's another reason that we have these quick pumps. You know, this is what I was talking about, where you know, you had this pump that happened. You know, this is 2 days. These candles are 1 day, so in 2 days. But actually, the majority of the pump happened within like 2 or 3 hours. But there's a reason this happens. You know, it's to liquidate shorts. It's to get people to FOMO in. But it's also psychological, to make people think, if I'm not in, I'm going to miss one of these candles that's going to go straight to the moon. If I'm not in, I'm going to miss out on this candle that's going to go straight to 20,000. If I'm not in right here, I'm going to miss out on these 3 candles. There's going to be another candle that's going to happen soon. It's going to go straight up to 15,000. I got to be in. If I'm not in, I'm going to miss out. No, you're not going to miss out. Because if it does go up, it's going to come back down. It's going to retrace its support, and then you can buy in there, and you can wait till it goes up, set your stop loss, and play it safe. You're not going to miss one giant candle going to the moon, guys. That's just not how it works. And I think a lot of people think that, and that's why they think they have to be in all the time. But, you know, guys, just play it smart. And all I can do is show you what I find, and you take away from it what you will, guys. But again, if you want to access the charts, guys, that information in the description of this video. And that's it.